against a team that finished under 500, who has a 45-year-old quarterback. I get it. He's the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but who has played nowhere near to what he's played throughout his career. Like, just saying on paper Dallas is more talented and we don't think they're going to win is an indictment.
Dak had 15 interceptions this year.
In 12
games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not going to be the most shocking thing on the face of the earth if Dak Prescott and the Cowboys win by, 17, whatever the number is. It's football. Anything can happen. This one in particular, you got a road team that's the favorite for all the reasons you just talked about. To me, it seems pretty obvious that Tampa Bay is the more likely team to win this thing. For me. I don't trust Dak Prescott. I don't. I mean, Dak Prescott in his postseason career is 1-3. He's pretty mediocre. He's completed about 60% of his passes. And they have been in those games underwhelming. And I know there's one game in there, and I can't remember which one, where he threw for like a billion yards, and they won that game. But Tom Brady, man, I'll say this: Tom Brady knows if he's staying or not. That I believe. I think Tom Brady knows whether he's a quarterback next year in the NFL or not. He may not know what team he wants to be with, if he's going to force his way somewhere else. He knows. And if he has decided that he is leaving, which I think is a reasonable possibility, the idea that this is it and this is this game potentially, Tom Brady, that level of focus, that level of commitment, I like the Bucs, man. We got some listeners who are parlaying Giants, Tampa Bay on my anti-Dak, anti-Kirk thing. So I'm also just rooting for him for those folks that bet, put their own money down.
I got Tampa Bay. Close game. Tom Brady leads them on a game-winning drive.
Tampa Bay by 13.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
How many interceptions for Dak tonight?
One, but he's like really lackluster in like big third down conversion moments. Thanks for listening. That's a show. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow on CBS Sports Radio.
Say, for the ones who get it done, Grainger is offering high-quality supplies and solutions for every single industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and the experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people even safer. So, call, click, Grainger.com, or just stop on by. Grainger.com.
Here's a message just for the attorneys out there. So you passed the bar, joined a firm, or even built your own. Now are you finding out that you're doing more administration than actual law practice? Lexicon can help. Lexicon is a legal technology provider with over a decade of experience streamlining administrative tasks like timekeeping, billing, and more, so you can focus on maximizing billable hours and increasing client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/go to learn more.
This is Mark Washington with Max Sports Performance at Max Fitness. Our facility has reopened and is following all safety protocols. The best thing you can do to strengthen your immune system is, of course, to work out and exercise on a regular basis. I can assist you as your performance coach. You can also enjoy the benefits of a private facility. Avoid the crowds and work out at Max Fitness. Now is the time to get healthy. Max Fitness, just off Highway 43 in the old Ace Hardware building behind Speedway in Greenville. Call me, Mark Washington, 902-4877.
Happy New Year. This is Talbot Green, and I'm excited to announce our new partnership with Integrity Home Mortgage. Integrity Home Mortgage offers a wide variety of programs ranging from conventional, government, and portfolio loans, plus construction and lot loans. Our Integrity Home Mortgage team of Talbot Green, Braxton Green, and Joanne Weir offer over 50 years of experience and is committed to providing you with superior customer service. To get started, call me, Talbot Green, 714-2076.
NMLS 28516, Equal Housing Lender. Have you experienced increased aches and pains recently? Have you heard of CBD? Hemp Garden is your premier CBD retailer in eastern North Carolina. Do you find yourself having anxiety or in need of extra sleep support? Hemp Garden has a variety of Delta 8 and hemp-derived Delta 9 products that can assist with those issues. If you're unable to stop by the store, don't worry. Give them a call today at 413-6100 for a consultation, and they'll ship right to your door. Hemp Garden, 3040 South Evans Street in the Target Shopping Center in Greenville.
UBE and PirateWear.com is excited to offer Pirate Nation the largest selection of new ECU merchandise and tailgate supplies ever. UBE has the best prices in town, so that makes UBE your one-stop shop for all things ECU. UBE does daily restocks of Champion, Adidas, and Under Armour. Don't forget to bring your young Pirates in to plunder the Crow's Nest, which is the only kids store dedicated to ECU. Plenty of free parking uptown in Greenville. Visit them at PirateWear.com. Go Pirates!
Do you suffer from chronic aches, pains, or muscle tightness? Hey, I'm Jordan Mikesell with Bodies in Balance in Greenville. With degrees in physical, occupational, and massage therapy and certifications in stretching and flexibility, we know how stretching and massage can bring long-term results so you can live a pain-free and healthy life. Continue enjoying the activities you love by calling or texting 252-916-4530 to schedule your first stretch consultation or massage today. For more info, visit bodiesinbalance.com so you can start living an active life today.
Saturdays are your day to kick back, relax, and have fun. That's why Ottavola Market Cafe is the perfect place to go for dinner, drinks, and takeout. Ottavola is open every Saturday at 4 p.m. on the bar side, serving a special selection of menu favorites of appetizers, pastas, and specialty pizzas. Whether it's dine-in, takeout, or drinks with friends, Ottavola is the best choice every Saturday starting at 4 o'clock. Visit OttavolaMarket.com to see what's new, and visit Ottavola on Red Banks Road every Saturday starting at 4. Ottavola, Pirates supporting Pirates.
Do you have any real estate questions about buying or selling residential or commercial properties? Are you curious about this current real estate market? Do you need a property manager for all your rental houses? This is proud ECU alum Scott Harris with RE/MAX Preferred Realty and SD Harris Properties, and I would love to help answer every question you have and show you a real estate experience that will be memorable and enjoyable. Every step of the way, I'm here to make your dreams a stress-free reality. Call me today at 347-1857. That's 347-1857. Go Pirates.
If you missed Pirate Radio Live, you missed.
Steve Ellis joining us once again. Hey, Coach.
I thought I was leaving, but I guess I'm coming back.
Sharks lurk.
I'm a shark. I'm always back.
He's just always here. By the way, you know when you pass gas but are afraid something might have come out, what do you call that?
A shot. That's a shot.
That's different. That's not quite what a shark is.
That's a shot.
A shot?
A shot.
Coach, thanks for hanging out.
No
man.
problem.
All right, we'll see you.
Don't short yourself.
Shirley like that one.
I always get it when 8th grade clip comes out.
We tickled Shirley.
Yeah.
Like that, Shirley?
I'm back. Did you short?
Pirate Radio Live, weekdays from 3 to 6, right here on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern Carolina's longest-running sports radio show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show is powered by Greenville Utilities and also brought to you by
Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Papa John's, Pepsi, The Rick House, Greenville Utilities, BMS Builders, Taft and Hagler, Tiebreakers, and Greenville Auto World.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Okay, happy Monday, everybody. A holiday Monday for you on this MLK Junior Day as we get set for the 32nd annual Pick Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet coming up on Thursday. So this is our annual Pick Greenville Hot Stove League show. We do it on Mondays to preview the banquet. 32 years of the banquet, and these gentlemen have been to a lot of these Pick Greenville Hot Stove League banquets. The president of the Pick Greenville Hot Stove League is Duane Grooms. He's to my left. Duane, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm here.
Here you are. You are here. Ronald Vincent, North Carolina's all-time winningest coach in high school baseball. He's to my far left. Coach, welcome. Before you get busy, we're going to talk a little baseball.
Yep, it's always a good day to talk baseball.
It is that. And we need a hot stove this morning as far as the weather goes. And to my right, the legend himself, Marvin Jarman, is going to chime in. Marvin, you doing all right? Yeah, good. Yeah, he's fired up and ready to go. And later in our show, the featured speaker coming up on Thursday night, Mike Shildt. He is right now a senior advisor to the general manager of the San Diego Padres, but he's a very interesting baseball person. He's the 2019 St. Louis Cardinals Manager of the Year, and he's going to join us coming up in just a bit. We'll talk hot stove baseball, and our show continues. That's coming up right after this.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-style restaurant and bourbon bar with daily specials. And here's the lineup. Mondays feature $7 margaritas and half-price appetizers. Tuesday is stuffed seafood night. Wednesday is date night. Thursday is roasted smoked lamb chop night. Fridays is prime rib night. And Saturday is Italian night and is also Fred and Wilma night with our 36-ounce bone-in tomahawk steak just like the Flintstones. And on Sunday, it's our legendary brunch from 10 to 2. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville.
Before you hit the road this travel season, be sure to get your tires inspected by the tire guys at Greenville Auto World. The Greenville Auto World service team sells all the top brands and economy tires if you need a new set. Need an oil change, state inspection, or AC repair? Greenville Auto World can work on any type of vehicle, and the monthly oil change special is only $29.99. Make an appointment now by calling 364-8730. For award-winning service, trust Greenville Auto World.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
BMS Builders is your premier custom builder in Eastern North Carolina. With homes in Blackwood, Mills Creek, Dalton's Cove and Farmville, and Belmar and Ayden, they're constantly expanding. Now to Laurel Glen and Sarah's Way, plus the new duplex community at Abigail Trails. BMS Builders can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or ECU football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. Call 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
What happened to your New Year's resolution?
My resolution is to eat better. Epic stuffed crust, better ingredients, better pizza. I'm eating better. What are you guys doing in my house? Don't answer. I thought you said you wasn't coming back.
Hey, Pirate fans, Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates!
For the latest from the world of golf. Tune in every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
This is Miles Bear, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our Hot Stove edition of The Brian Bailey Show. Duane Grooms is the new president of the Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League. Ronald Vincent alongside. Marvin Jarman chiming in from time to time. But can you believe, first of all, you were at the very first meeting of the Pitt Greenville, and Coach Vincent, you were at the very first meeting. Can you believe it's been 32 years?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's been a what a great organization with just lots of great baseball enthusiasts and over the years and great speakers. And you've been to all of them, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I remember the first meeting, and I remember some of the talk that was going on, and the first one was held at the Moose Lodge, if I'm not mistaken. Right. But I remember there was talk that we can get 400 or 500 people, and I was thinking, like, in Greenville, we're going to get 400 or 500 people? And I think I was way off, because we could have gotten 1,000 if we'd had enough tickets and enough barbecue to go around. But that was, it's just something that it took off from day one. I think everybody wanted to do it. It's different than a lot of of hot stove leagues around. Everyone has a different idea of how to do hot stove. Kinston has a hot stove with the Down East Wood Ducks, and theirs is a little different. Wilson's had one for many, many, many years. Raleigh's had one for many years, and some of them include, it's more adult-oriented with alcohol and that kind of thing. But, the Pitt Greenville has always been family-oriented. It's barbecue, sweet tea, and a good time. And
barbecue and baseball. What more can you ask for?
And door prizes.
And door prizes.
And door prizes. So Duane, tell everybody how you won the presidency. I know you ran a nice campaign, didn't you?
I did. It was a short and brief campaign.
It was very brief.
Yeah.
Well, I told everybody that one of my things I was going to say at the end of the banquet this year was, let this be a lesson to all of y'all. Do not miss the next meeting of the Hot Stove League, or else you too can become president of the Hot Stove League. But no, I'm enjoying it so far. It's been a lot of work. Chuck Humphrey, who took over from Dr. Grimsley, Jimmy Grimsley, who took over from George Williams, who was the first president. Chuck's done it for 18 years, and I can imagine when he handed me those boxes, I think it probably added 10 more years to his life when he handed me those boxes and checkbook and said, "Tag, you're it." So, but it's been fun so far because I've got a chance to talk baseball and work with all these folks. So
and it's one of those things that obviously this time of year, trying to get the banquet organized and everything like that, it's complicated. But then you kind of get a little bit for the baseball to be played, and then you get back in the fall and start organizing another one, right?
Yeah, just trying to get the site, trying to narrow in, because you're working with you work with ECU Athletics about trying to get the Murphy Center. So you got to work around the basketball schedule and whatever else they have. You also try to get you try to work with a speaker. Howard McCullough has always been, and Ronald has always been real key on who we're going to get as a speaker, and with their connections with college and pro players and college and pro coaches and stuff. So
I've always been amazed at the great speakers that we do get to come to Greenville. I mean, it's been something that, and it started in 1990 was the first Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League banquet. Bobby Richardson was our first guest speaker. He did a great job.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's awesome, and he was great that night. And he kept everybody's attention, and we've had some good speakers.
Yeah, and really, most of the best ones have come in with a couple of ideas to talk about, but really they kind of just share their knowledge and they share a couple of stories and that kind of thing. One of the best was Catfish Hunter, and I talked about this the last number of years, but when Catfish Hunter stood up, he kind of just looked around the room and would tell a quick story about each person that he saw that he recognized, and I was amazed that a guy like Catfish Hunter was that down to earth.
Really
and I came away from a Hall of Famer and somebody that we lost way too early in life, but still, just what a down-to-earth guy he was. You enjoyed that one, Marvin?
Yeah.
Just because he was a Yankee, Marvin. You like the Yankees, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah. But really, when you look and the other one I put down, a couple of these that I really wanted to talk about, Joe West.
That was awesome.
Joe West he has so many stories that he hasn't even told yet. I mean, I think in his head they just pop in and he just tells them. But he was great, and just his next stop is where? Cooperstown.
It should be.
It should be. Now he ruffled some feathers along the way. But
Joe could do that.
Yep, but he was a great, I think a great umpire, and there was a lot of, you saw some of the things when he did ruffle feathers, but you hear a lot of guys will talk about, hey, what a good guy he was, what a great umpire he was, and stuff like that. So
his last game he umpired was the Cardinals and the Dodgers in the playoff game, the play-in game a couple years ago, and of course we had Joe was behind the plate, and Clayton McCulloch was at first base.
Yeah.
And we've got a picture, and we've got it up at Rose High, where both of them have signed it.
Wow.
Joe, the last play was a close play at the plate, and Joe was calling safe, and Clayton was going up with his hands up in the air, and that's cool.
That's a neat picture. Yeah. That's really
that's a great Greenville connection.
Joe at that time was 68 or 69, and he missed 2 pitches according to that picture track. He, like out of 280 some pitches. They said he missed 2. And knowing Joe like you and I know him, Brian, he probably thinks that machine was wrong.
I know that. He probably does.
Yeah.
But he was just down to earth. He'd do anything to work. And he really, what I've noticed through the years, and I've had so many people tell me that he looked out for all the Greenville guys. If you ever needed anything, wanted anything, he'd do everything he could. To get you a ticket, to get you this, get you that. I mean, he'd take care of you.
His outside demeanor and what's inside of Joe are 2 different things. He's such a good person.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's gruff and, like you say, he ruffled a lot of feathers, but he's really a good person.
I mean, him and Andre Dawson went at it one time, and I was a Cub fan.
Yeah. And the Hawk, what was Andre Dawson called? It wasn't the Hawk. That was...
yeah, he was a Hawk.
He was the Hawk.
Andre Dawson, the Hawk. Yeah.
Okay.
Andre Dawson. Yeah.
Throwing bats out the dugout.
Yeah, that was. He had him riled up, didn't he?
Yeah.
But and we're going to talk with Mike Shildt coming up in just a few minutes. And one of the questions I asked him was about what do you think about the having a shift or not having a shift, and what do you think about the strike zone? I mean, it looks like we're getting closer and closer to that automated strike zone, and I hate that.
Yeah, 3A. AAA baseball this year's supposed to have the umpire hooked up to a machine. So
who are you going to yell at?
I know you're going to yell at the camera operator. I guess whoever's running that thing.
Yeah, it's no fun.
I just don't think you need it. I think you got to keep the human aspect in these games. I mean, how many times in the NFL have you seen replay and you say they're still going to screw it up, and somehow they do. I mean, somebody does. Yeah. So it's not foolproof. And the camera angles, I think that the old saying, the camera never lies, but sometimes it can give you at least a fib or 2.
Yeah, yeah. And the umpires, it's incredible they're spending all that money. This is what Joe always says, they're spending millions of dollars to realize we're right 99% of the time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
98, 99, and nothing in life is right 98 or 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So and we've had coaches. We had Billy Godwin was our guest speaker at one time. He's at Greensboro now. We've had Cliff Godwin, East Carolina's baseball coach, Tommy Easton over at Pitt Community College. When those guys spoke, I always thought it was interesting because they basically are one of us. We watch their teams play every year, and they really did a nice job with their speeches.
And the 3 of them, just the passion they have for baseball and the passion they have for kids and stuff like that. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
You could just see how much they cared about what they do in the game of baseball.
Any other speakers stand out you can think of off the top of you? Those are some I wrote down.
One that people didn't know that he's still in the majors, Tony Beasley.
Yeah.
Remember Tony?
Yeah, remember that.
Wasn't it with the Rangers? Didn't he become the interim manager?
I think so. He was third base coach at one point. I think when he came here, I think that's what it was. And he did a great job with his speech.
Yeah, and he was very, very good. And you could tell Tony Beasley was going to be there. And so we've really had some good ones.
Yeah.
We have. So.
And the thing is, if you're thinking about going to the Hot Stove League banquet, I mean, it's not a long speech. It's never anything. It's one of those situations you try to get everybody in. The best part of the thing is when the group that I think it's a sorority this year is going to feed everybody. I mean, they just take over the tables and boom, everybody's fed in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, Kyle Megas, and like you say,
the
food's out and you eat, and the food is always good.
Yeah,
just about the time amen comes out of the invocation giver, it's amen, and then there's a piece of chicken and barbecue in front of you.
Good bread, good meat, good golly, let's eat.
Let's eat.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Ground rule double.
Yeah, exactly. Marvin, who's your favorite speaker? You remember anybody off the top of your head? You think about it?
He's taking on it.
We'll come back to you. How about that? You keep thinking about it. He's seen too many Rose Eye basketball games to think about a speaker. 1,300. Congratulations on that, sir. That's an amazing stat. It must be nice to. I always think I hear people all the time. They got the Order of the Longleaf Pine Award, and what I always think about is Marvin. The lunch that they had when they presented him with that award. That's the highest honor I think a civilian can get from the governor's office. Right. And I remember the day that Marvin got his. You did that a long time ago. You've been sleeping at the wheel since then, because I haven't heard any big awards since then.
I think he might get another one before it's over with.
He might. He might be a double winner, two-time winner.
Yeah.
All right. The 32nd Annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet is coming up on Thursday night. The guest speaker will be Mike Shildt. He's the former St. Louis Cardinals manager. He was the 2019 Manager of the Year. Coach, how did we get him involved, and how did we get him over here?
It seems like he's living in Kinston. His wife is from this area, and they were living in Kinston, and they actually have a place down at Atlantic Beach or Emerald Isle, somewhere in that category. And anyhow, he was around, and we knew he would be good, because like you say when you meet him, he's such a down to earth guy. He's one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big key when you have the speaker. And we're going to do it a little bit different this year. We're going to, instead of actually having a speech, we're going to do like a little interview up in front. And I'll do a couple of questions, and then we'll throw it out to the crowd and let the crowd ask some questions. Because, as you said earlier, the thing about the speakers is they want to say things that the crowd wants to hear. So when we let the crowd ask a question or two, I think that'll certainly work out pretty well. All right, Mike Shildt's going to join us coming up after our commercial break, and we'll talk with him and get him ready for this 32nd Annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. We'll take a break. Coach Shildt joins us next. Back with more after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11, north of the airport in Greenville. The Pirates lost to the USF Bulls in an AAC matchup yesterday afternoon in Greenville, 81-70. Memphis transferred Tyler Harris had 24 points for the Bulls. Big man Russell Chua had 20 points. ECU was led in scoring by Quentin DeBunje, who had a career-high 18 points. Brandon Johnson had his 8th double-double, 16 points and 12 rebounds. Caleb LeCount chipped in with 11 points. ECU has now lost 4 in a row to drop to 1-5 in the American, 10-9 overall. The Pirates are at Temple in Philadelphia Wednesday night at 7. The Owls lost to Memphis yesterday, 61-59, as the Tigers' Kendrick Davis nailed a baseline shot for the win at the buzzer. Kinston's Damian Dunn led all scorers with 23 points for the Owls. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. UBE and PirateWear.com is excited to offer Pirate Nation the largest selection of new ECU merchandise and tailgate supplies ever. UBE has the best prices in town, so that makes UBE your one-stop shop for all things ECU. UBE does daily restocks of Champion, Adidas, and Under Armour. Don't forget to bring your young Pirates in to plunder the Crow's Nest, which is the only kids store dedicated to ECU. Plenty of free parking uptown in Greenville. Visit them at PirateWear.com. Go Pirates!
This isn't your regular cola, so this isn't your regular cola ad. No beach parties or family barbecues here, just Nitro Pepsi, the first cola ever infused with nitrogen. So forget everything you thought you knew about soda, because that nitrogen gives us a whole new experience. Think an infusion of smaller bubbles for a cola that's got a lighter, smoother texture. And don't get me started on the pour. You don't pour this like any other cola. We're talking turn the can completely upside down and watch as those bubbles cascade into the glass to create a frothy, luxurious foam topping. Can your cola do that? I didn't think so. Unless you've got your own Nitro Pepsi, in which case cheers to your great taste. Because you already know that the only thing better than the pour is the unapologetic cola taste. What else is there to say? From the creamy foam to the smooth texture to its unbelievably delicious flavor, this is cola like you've never had it before. Time to bring your taste buds to the next frontier. Nitro Pepsi. Smooth, creamy, delicious.
Hi, I'm Annalie Newhoff.
And I'm Rob Campbell.
And we are with CopyPro. We have been locally owned and operated here in Eastern North Carolina for almost 50 years. CopyPro is the leader in office technology.
Does your business struggle with keeping printing costs low or producing professional documents? Here at CopyPro, total customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
We have a variety of solutions to help reduce your printing expenses and make your business more productive. Call us today at 1-800-682-6558 or online at copypro.net.
CopyPro, we are the professional office systems people.
This is Carson Wissenhunt, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this holiday Monday, the Brian Bailey Show, as we continue on. Coming up on Thursday night, as we've said, the 32nd annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League banquet, and the guest speaker will be the 2019 National League Manager of the Year from the St. Louis Cardinals, Mike Shildt. He now calls Kinston home. He's going to join us in Greenville coming up on Thursday night. Coach, we can't wait to see you on Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, Brian, it's an honor. I'm humbled to be able to participate. I'm excited to hopefully share some knowledge and continue to grow our wonderful game of baseball.
You've been an advocate for baseball for a long, long time. Take us back to when you first, started getting your feet wet, and it was, you were very young when you were getting your feet wet to someday become a manager in the big leagues.
Yeah, I started at 8 years old in a Double-A park called Crockett Park. Was the Double-A affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles at the time, and that was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a native Charlottean, born and raised, and don't plan on leaving the state except for when I go do some baseball activities and do with the team. But, yeah, I did a little bit of everything growing up. Worked in the clubhouse, chased foul balls, ran the scoreboard. My mom was the administrative assistant to Francis Crockett. So from 8 to 16, I grew up in a ballpark, and man, what a charmed childhood.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's got to be a great life when you're 8 or 9 years old and you're hanging around ball players who are playing professionally, even in the minors. I mean, it had to be just a big thrill for you. And really, it was the first of many stepping stones for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. It got in my blood at an early age. I had some ability. And like most young men that put on a glove and swing a bat, they want to play in the big leagues. And I fought like heck for that to happen. I played through high school, and then I went to college and played at UNC Asheville, and realized really quickly, went over to Mountain to play University of Tennessee, and I realized, okay, I don't think I'm going past this level. So I ended up having a good time in college and a good experience with some really good people. But it took me through college to play, and I got done playing, and I got a degree eventually. And I said, man, what's next? And I love coaching. I love the game. I wanted to see if I love coaching, actually. I knew I loved the game. Didn't really know what else I'd do, Brian, with my life. Not a lot of skill sets there off the field, but I got into coaching, loved it, loved the opportunity to help young men get the most out of their God-given ability. Love still connecting with the game, the competition, and so started coaching my alma mater, and it took a windy road that eventually led me to the big leagues.
Yeah, you got your start in the big leagues, if I read correctly. Christmas Eve of 2003, you got the offer from the Cardinals to come on as a scout. Was that the next big stepping stone?
Yeah, next big stepping stone. There was some, there's a journey in between, but yeah, started out as a scout on the with North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. And got to meet some wonderful people, including a gentleman named Howard McCullough, who's a local legend, rightfully so.
Yes, he is. He's a hot stover for Pitt Greenville for sure.
Oh, he's the man, And look, it's been interesting. It's been a blessing to get to know Howard, and even more closely now. I'm in East North Carolina. We have lunch periodically, and then get to see his son Clayton as the first base coach with the Dodgers. And but yeah, that's how I got started scouting, and then. I kind of talked him in to let me do some player development things, which at that time, Brian, was not typical of somebody who hadn't played professional baseball to get to coach, much less manage. And I give the Cardinals a lot of credit for allowing me to do so. 4 years into that, I think they realized I probably wasn't a very good scout, evidently. So, on the coaching side, the player development side, which is where my heart was, candidly, in 2008 full time, and I started coaching, running spring trainings on the minor league side, and then I started managing and managed 8 years in the minor leagues, and got to the big leagues as initially a quality control coach in 2017, and then coached third base, was the bench coach, and then became the manager.
What were you thinking when you were offered the interim title as manager with the Cardinals? I mean, did you think you could pull it off? Did you think you could, have a nice run? You had a great run, 252 and 199 as far as wins and losses, led the Cardinals to the playoffs those years. I mean, what were you thinking when you first got that job?
When I first got it, there was a lot of bittersweetness about that, because it meant that Mike Matheny, who had given me the opportunity to be on his big league staff, and that's something I'll never forget. Getting that opportunity to him have the confidence in me to bring him on staff, and then feeling like I'd let him down on some levels because he had been let go. It's part of the industry, as we know, in the life of a manager or coach. But so I felt like I'd let Mike down. It was disappointing, and then yet it was very surreal that I was given the opportunity to be the interim. I prepared my whole life for it. You don't know what that really looks like till you get in that seat, and it's an interesting seat, I can tell you that. But I was privileged going back to the childhood experience that we talked about, and all the different things that and a lot of different people that shared and poured into me that prepared me before I even knew I was going to be in that chair to do the job. And as you mentioned, we had some success, and I never felt like I was overwhelmed. I won't say felt like I had it figured out either, but I was prepared to do the job and in all the areas that it requires, and was and enjoyed every moment of it.
I didn't realize until I was reading up on it how rare it is for a person to become a baseball manager with no professional playing experience whatsoever. That's a real rarity, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's time. It's complete rarity. I don't know, small handful, 3 or 4, I'm not sure, but not many in the history of the game. I do think, based on the evolution of our game society, that more opportunities are going to come to people that haven't played at the professional level, and I think that's a good thing, and I'm fortunate enough to be an early adapter for that, and I appreciate the opportunity to do that for the 3.5 years I was able to do it, and hopefully look forward to doing it again.
You think back and you talked about the business side of baseball, and you saw it firsthand when you finished up your last year as the manager of the Cardinals. You lose in that wild card game, and this is a team that you had led to a winning streak of 17 in a row during the season. I mean, and I think I remember it. I didn't know you at the time, but I remember when it happened, and it was kind of a head scratcher, wasn't it?
Well, I can tell you it was a head scratching for me.
Exactly.
I can see as you get away from it and you start to see as things unfold, you can see how it happened a little bit. Agree, disagree. The fact of the matter is, didn't have the authority to do anything different about it, and it was still is painful. Recovered in a good situation now with San Diego, but you do realize about the business. It's a wonderful, beautiful game. It's a child's game. The game's great. I love it. But the game of baseball, from a business side, can be a lot of things, and it can be cruel as well.
Okay, now you're the senior advisor to the general manager with the Padres. What exactly does that entail?
Well, a little bit of everything, Brian. It's been a great role. I've enjoyed last year. I got over with San Diego in that role, and I good timing on my part with the club went to the National League Championship Series. I wore a lot of different hats that may be a little bit different this year. Last year, I was a little bit more on the field. Bob Melvin, the current manager, and a long-time, well-respected manager in Major League Baseball, who I didn't really know. We played against the A's a couple times when I was manager, but didn't know Bob very well. Anyway, he really encouraged for me to be on the field with the club, and I coached in third. I was like the utility coach. If a coach got COVID, I'd go coach first. If a guy had a hip surgery, I'd go coach third. I'd be the bench coach. So I did a little bit of everything, and I was grateful to do it. And it was a great club, and enjoyed working with them. And so I'll be on the field, probably 7 to 10 games a month. And then we get towards September, I'll probably be with the club on a daily basis through the playoff run and then the playoffs. And that's the big league side of it. So it's more of just a troubleshooter, experience. When they call it a senior, it means you got some age on you, Brian.
Yeah, I've been called that a lot lately too.
I hear you, my man. So it's a different role. It's a role I'm enjoying. It's clearly less pressure, but still involvement. So I can do a little bit of everything on the big league side. Just be a support system, advice, a voice of reason, hopefully, and then something similar on the minor league side, our player development department, helping oversee the organization create sustainable, successful development models that allow our players to get the most out of their God-given ability, and just be a resource for the system. I was in a minor league system for a long time, 13 years, that allowed me to work on my craft and to see some things that worked and some things that didn't, and be a resource for that department as well.
How badly does Mike Shildt want to be a Major League Baseball manager again?
He wants to manage again. I want to manage for sure. I mean, it's something that it's one of the things professionally I enjoy the most, because I just love the ability to help bring a team together and work with a team, and I love the competition. I love the decisions. And there's a lot of them that get made every night. Not as many now. The National League game is gone. It's more of a DH game, but I love all aspects of it, including the media, Brian.
Good.
Yeah, believe it or not, I've got some really close relationships. But, we'll see. Man plans, God laughs. We'll see what's in store. And I can tell you right now, I'm content with working with the Padres. It's a great organization, wonderful people with really a bright future. So I'll bloom where I'm planted there, like I always have, and do what I can to make us the best version of ourselves and help the Padres win that first World Series.
We can certainly go on forever. Just a couple of quick things I was going to ask you about. The strike zone, do you think it should go to, the automated version, the shift? Is it good to get that out of baseball? What about those two topics?
There's a conversation on both sides of it, relative to the strike zone. One of the things, I grew up with the Orioles, so Earl Weaver, for you, the older crowd that's listening, he was an animated manager, and Billy Martin was in that time. And,
yeah.
It's not that you want to sit there and have arguments every night with the umpire, but it is part of the game. You have that friendly disagreement occasionally with an umpire, and these guys are great, by the way, do a good job, and I consider them a lot of them friends. But it's part of it. The humanness of it is what I'm getting at, and we've taken a lot of that away. Replay, the game is, our society, the games, irrespective of sport, has gotten very much driven by science and technology, which in and of itself is healthy. But again, I like the humanness of it. I like the idea of having a ball strike called by somebody, but I do recognize that we now have the technology to get it consistently right. Those guys behind the plate do a phenomenal job, and their success rates in the high 90s almost every night. But it's not 100%, and there's a lot riding on the games, and the game wants to get it right, and we've got the technology, and they're vetting it out in the minor leagues and have been for a while. So I know crystal ball here, but I tell you, I think it's probably coming, whether you like it or not. And there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things you can't really argue with your wife like you'd like to sometimes, but you could always argue with the umpire, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, either way you do it, you're going to lose.
Exactly. That was my next point. Either way, it's going to be a loss, one in the loss column for sure. Mike Shildt joining us.
Thrown out of the house.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to get thrown out of a game. You get thrown out of the house, it's a whole different story. So we got to stay clear of that. Mike Shildt will be the guest speaker coming up at the 32nd Annual Hot Stove Banquet for Greenville coming up on Thursday night. Mike, thanks so much for your time today. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday night. Looking forward to our interview. We're going to do like a live interview on stage as far as the Hot Stove Banquet is concerned. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Some questions from the crowd and that kind of thing as well. So we look forward to seeing you on Thursday night.
Look forward to it, Brian. We'll have a good time. Look forward to people coming out and supporting the Hot Stove.
There he is, the 2019 National League Manager of the Year with the St. Louis Cardinals, Mike Shildt. Again, he'll be the guest speaker Thursday at the Big Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. We'll have more coming up on the Brian Bailey Show right after this.
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
It's bow time. You've probably heard folks say, don't call it a comeback.
But at Bojangles, we don't like to beat around the bush. So when the sizzling, savory pork chop griller's back in all its tender, marinated chili lime glory, and you can get a pork chop griller combo for just $4.59, go ahead, call it a comeback. Get a legendary pork chop griller combo for just $4.59, only at Bojangles. And it's bow time.
Are you looking for a home loan? Look no further than Amy Goss at Guild Mortgage. Since 1960, Guild Mortgage has partnered with industry professionals to close loans on time and help millions of Americans realize their dreams. Call Amy Goss at Guild Mortgage in Jacksonville, 910-389-4602. Amy Goss is licensed in Florida, Georgia, Maine, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Guild Mortgage Company, Equal Housing Opportunity, NMLS 3274. NMLSconsumeraccess.org / for licensing information. Please visit guildmortgage.com / licensing. Guild Mortgage is not affiliated with Pirate Radio.
This is Mark Washington with Max Sports Performance at Max Fitness. Our facility has reopened and is following all safety protocols. The best thing you can do to strengthen your immune system is, of course, to work out and exercise on a regular basis. I can assist you as your performance coach. You can also enjoy the benefits of a private facility. Avoid the crowds and work out at Max Fitness. Now is the time to get healthy. Max Fitness, just off Highway 43 in the old Ace Hardware building behind Speedway in Greenville. Call me, Mark Washington, 902-4877.
Hello, Eastern North Carolina. If you're looking for a great place to work with competitive pay and a multitude of advancement opportunities, Pitt County Schools is hiring. We employ over 3,500 people, and we're one of the largest employers in our community and region. Pitt County Schools is currently seeking teachers, bus drivers, school nutrition personnel, facility staff, custodians, clerical staff, and more. We offer advanced leadership opportunities for our educators and competitive pay for our skilled labor force. Come work for a diverse, thriving school system and be an important part of ensuring success for the students of Pitt County who are the future of Eastern North Carolina. To fill out an application, visit our website today at pittschools.org. That's pittschools.org. And remember, education is truly a team effort. Pitt County Schools. Live and lead.
Pirate Radio.
And you write that down, because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show, back live in our studios this afternoon, getting you set for the 32nd Annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. Duane Grooms is the president of the Hot Stove League. Ronald Vincent, the fine coach at J.H. Rose. Marvin Jarman, his right-hand man, all in the studio with us. What do you think of Mike Shildt? Did a good job, didn't he?
Yeah, I was very impressed. You know, he's really down to earth. He's really... You know, he's just he's grown up through baseball, and he's a people person, and you know, I think, you know, anybody that comes Thursday is going to really be glad they did.
You can tell that he knows a lot of the same folks that we all know in Eastern North Carolina and that kind of thing, in the state of North Carolina as far as baseball goes, and that'll be a big plus.
He's just exactly what you would hope a baseball guy would be.
Yeah.
You know.
Down to earth.
Yeah.
And most baseball guys, you know, I think the superstars may be a little different, but there's a lot of baseball guys that are just basic guys that love the game.
And just like you know, Brian, real well, most of these guys are just the same as everybody else. They've just got extraordinary
God gave
talent.
them some gifts, didn't they?
They got some talent.
I remember when Bob Patterson came back. You know, he pitched for a number of teams. I think he had his best year maybe with the Pirates, with Pittsburgh, but he was a former East Carolina pitcher, and he came back and he was one of those that was uncomfortable as a speaker. He really, you know, he was asking me questions before he went up there. I just told him, I said, "Bob, don't be nervous." He goes, "Oh, I'm really nervous." I said, "Man, you pitch in front of thousands. How could you be nervous?" He said, "Yeah, but I'm not speaking. I'm just throwing." But we talked him off the ledge, and he did a good job that night.
He really did. He had a great career, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Career, pitching one or two batters at night.
That's all it takes sometimes if you have that gift. When you think about the Hot Stove League, now the speaker is a big part of it, but also the awards that the Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League hands out, and they're always big honors. And you think back, the very first amateur player of the year. Remember who he was?
No.
Yeah, Eric Jarman.
Eric Jarman
was the very first.
Won the World Series.
Yep, 1990.
Yeah, World Series. He hit a home run to win series.
You know him, don't you?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah, he had a lot to overcome.
But exactly,
Marvin.
But it was great that the Jarman name was right out there from the very beginning, and he was the very first amateur player of the year. Clayton McCullough, we've talked about him a couple of times. He was the amateur player of the year in 2003. So there's one right there that continued on. And so many, and you'll get one of the programs, and if you don't get a chance to look at it at the banquet, take it home with you because it's chock full of baseball history from Eastern North Carolina and Greenville and all of the award winners throughout the years. And for me, it's always fun to go back and look and see who all won all of the awards. The volunteer coach, remember who the first volunteer coach was? It was Ray Burbert. Roy Burbert. I wrote it down and I couldn't tell if that was an O or an A. Roy Burbert. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Because he was with Coke. He was coaching Coke in Little League, and what a great coach he was. Look at that list of volunteer coaches, Brian.
Oh, yeah. There's some good ones. The next year, the mayor won it. He wasn't mayor at the time, Don Parrott.
Okay.
Former
volunteer coach.
Yeah.
How about
volunteer coach of the year in 1991. A couple of Little League World Series coaches that were able to make it. Wayne Hardy back in 99. He, of course, led 98 team to the led Greenville's All-Star team to the Little League World Series in Williamsport. And in 18, Brian Fields and Mike Vaughn were both honored. And they, of course, had so much to do with that 17 team that went to the Little League World Series.
What a list of names. And then, we get to the contributor of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, all those guys. And the very first individual contributor was back in 1990 was Boyd Lee.
Which is
incredible.
And it could have been any year.
Any year for him. Greenville Recreation and Parks Department also honored with the individual contributor. So that means a lot. The corporate sponsors in 1995 was Pepsi. That was the first year that we had a corporate sponsor was 95, and that was Pepsi. And Minji's Bottling. All they've done throughout the years.
Since the beginning of baseball in Greenville.
Yeah. So and they go way back as far as that goes. So it's just one of those things, and so many times, after the awards are over, some of these guys will tell you for years how much it meant to them. Just being there that night and being honored. And we've got a group coming up this year. We've got the same categories again: amateur player of the year. You got the volunteer coach of the year, individual contributor, and some of them you have to tell. We won't say anybody who's winning. Today we'll wait till Thursday. But some of these folks you have to tell, get them out there, so make sure they're there, right?
Right.
And some of their schedules are like that too.
Yeah, you have to
pry them along. Yeah,
you have to try to tell them they need to be there without telling them
they need to be there.
They need to be there.
Give them a job of some sort. Make them come out. But and the other side of this thing is the scholarships that are given out.
Yeah.
And I know that means a whole lot to everybody.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And these guys that are scholarship winners. And they're just the ones that we pick because there's others just right close to them. But
the Mike Board family scholarship goes to a J.H. Rose player each year.
Right.
That's correct.
Right.
And then there's the George E. Williams scholarship and the Jimmy Grimsley scholarship. George was the first president of the Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League. Jimmy took over for George.
Right.
And then Chuck, I was going to say Howard for some reason. Howard McCullough should be the president, but he never was. But Chuck took over after that, and then Duane took over for the four presidents of the Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League. But there's so many people behind the scenes, like Howard, like you've talked about. I mean, he's done so much through the years, getting a speaker and getting everything. He keeps Eastern North Carolina involved with baseball.
And he does, and and Howard can't make it this year.
That's right,
because he's going back to Florida to see hang out with Clayton for a while before the season starts. So he got tired of the cold weather up here.
I don't blame him there. That'll be a nice change of pace. But and is there a board that looks at a committee that looks at the scholarships? Is that how everything goes?
Pretty much. We talked to some of the coaches and stuff, and there's 4 or 5 of us get together, and
and sometimes there's some tough decisions. I would say.
Really are, and everyone that you see on this list really deserves it. So
yes.
Yep. So anyhow, wish we could give more money.
Yeah, well, we just got to keep on keeping. Now, there has been in the past the Pitt Greenville Hot Stove Baseball Tournament. Is that on again this year?
Yeah, it's the Pitt County Tournament now.
Okay.
And we're part of it, and the Hot Stove does the Greenville part of it.
Okay.
Pitt Greenville Hot Stove does the Greenville part of it. There'll be probably 10 or 12 games at Guy Smith Stadium played, and it's not really a tournament now. It's just
it's more or less, yeah. You're guaranteed 3 games.
Yeah.
It's hard to bring teams in when you can't guarantee them games,
right.
because if you the old days they would play. You move to the winners bracket, go to the losers bracket, and you still get the games in, but you don't know what time they're being played. Now you can just schedule 3 games and kind of determine a champion that way, don't you?
Yeah, we have. At Rose and at South Central and North Pitt's had teams, but it's really good. You got teams coming in from Ohio and Virginia and stuff like that, and that's really cool to play those games.
Yeah, I would say, and a lot of those teams come in and can't believe when they get to Greenville how nice it is. I'm sure
most of them can't.
I know, because you look in Little League, you look over to Elm Street, and then Guy Smith is a gym in itself, and I know that they certainly appreciate that, because some of those teams come from places that aren't playing real smooth infields. Have some trouble with that. All right, we're going to take our final break, then we'll come back and we'll wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show. Again, we're previewing the 32nd annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. Back to wrap it up on this holiday Monday right after this.
Add some sparkle and style to your home and save at Bostic Sugg Furniture. Give your home a new look in the new year with beautiful new furniture. Right now, get a Bostic Sugg first time ever offer with 3 ways to save. 1, get a sales tax discount on any purchase. 2, get a $100 in MasterCard rewards cards for every $1,000 you spend. And finally, get 6 months special financing. So add some sparkle and style to your home with a little help from Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Greenville Utilities electric customers will soon be able to receive text notifications in the event of power outages. Enrollment is automatic, so make sure GUC has your cell phone number by signing into your account at GUC.com, then update the information in your user profile. Want to talk with someone instead? Call 252-752-7166 during business hours. 252-752-7166. Update us so we can update you. Visit GUC.com for more information.
The Angus Grill is your premier spot for the best burgers, cheesesteaks, and brisket sandwiches around. Join us for our unmatched variety of burger combinations, from the mushroom bacon Swiss burger to the jalapeno popper burger to the original Angus classic. Pair that burger with our amazing onion rings, tots, fries, or sweet potato fries. Angus Grill, with 4 amazing locations in eastern North Carolina, including Winterville near Pitt Community College, on Jarvis Street in uptown Greenville, and on Statensburg Road near the hospital. It's the best burger around, guaranteed.
Hey Pirate Nation, Lindsay Gray here with Carolina Caliber. In 1960, my granddaddy started his firearm business right here in Eastern NC. Still family owned and operated, we have the area's largest selection for outdoor shooting sports and accessories and are one of the nation's top firearm dealers. At Carolina Caliber, we have everything you need from hunting, home defense, and personal protection, including a wide variety for ladies and youth. We buy, sell, and trade. It's a time-honored tradition. Visit us at Carolina Caliber on Fire Tower Road in Winterville.
Do you need custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items for your business, organization, or event? Keep it local. Print it local with University Sportswear. University Sportswear ENC.com is your one-stop shop for all promotional products for your business. With over 1 million items to shop from, University Sportswear ENC.com offers high-quality products at prices to fit any budget. Visit University Sportswear ENC.com for contact information and to get shopping. University Sportswear ENC.com, the official sportswear provider of Pirate Radio.
For years, Callie Ann Phelps has been singing about Phelps Chevrolet.
Phelps Chevrolet is the one for you. Low prices, service too. See the big dealer right away. Carolina's finest, Phelps Chevrolet.
And you'll agree with what Skylar Phelps has to say.
Nobody beats Phelps Chevrolet's prices. Nobody.
The name you can depend on. Phelps Chevrolet.
Get you one.
Pirate Radio.
An actual pirate?
Obviously. Duh. The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, got about 10 minutes or so to go as we continue on previewing the 32nd Annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. If you're listening to us today or tonight and you're interested in going, there will be a few tickets at the door, correct?
Just a few tickets at the door.
Okay.
First come,
first serve. We've got lots of barbecue, lots of baseball, and as we talked about at the beginning of the show, there's so many different ways to do a Hot Stove League banquet. The way Pitt Greenville decided to do it 32 years ago was just to basically, have barbecue, have a sweet tea, and just talk baseball. And really, that's it. All starts off with the opening chat, to get things started. And there are some pictures out there, some old pictures, like the very first. My hair was dark. I think everybody's hair was dark in that first edition 32 years ago. So there are pictures out there somewhere. But I've got just about every year I've got the program signed by the guest speaker in my desk drawer. But for some reason I missed a couple of them. I'm sick now that I did. I missed one early, like 3 or 4. Can't remember that one. But I've got a stack of them, and so I've really tried to make a habit of it, just to do it, just to have it. And then when I pass along, I'll give them to somebody, and maybe they can keep them or display them somewhere at the hot stove. But we've gone over earlier some great speakers through the years, and really it's just one of those nights you walk away and you think, hey, I live in a really cool place.
Yeah.
Because Greenville loves baseball. Greenville loves college football, obviously with East Carolina. And I think just Greenville loves sports. I think that's why I've loved it so many years working here. But you walk out of there and you think, hey, this is a bunch of good folks, and so many people walk out of there with plaques and happy that they're being honored, and it's really a good night, isn't it, Coach?
It's just a lot of fun, and the people you see in there, Brian, are really good people.
Yeah,
really good people. Baseball, football, basketball. They come to most of the stuff, but baseball being primarily what we're there for. But so golly, if you come to the Hot Stove Banquet Thursday, you will know some people there.
Oh, yeah. And I've said it for years, and we haven't said it in a couple of years because we haven't had the banquet because of COVID concerns and that kind of thing. But it's like a family reunion. You walk in, and some of the people we haven't talked about today that are very much a part of the hot, like Randy Phillips.
Yeah.
Love Randy. I mean, he's one of the best guys around. Melissa was talking about him this weekend. He seems like he's always in a good mood. I said, well, I'm sure there was out there that'll tell you he's not always in a good mood, right? He's doing a Marvin impression, but he's one of those guys, and there's so many of them behind the scenes that really just make this thing, make it click.
Yeah, going back to the meal, Phil Joyner.
Yeah, Phil hosts everybody every year. Meetings.
We started this banquet with Phil cooking.
Yep.
Right.
He cooked the meal.
Yeah.
And then it got so big that we ended up going to Parker's or wherever and getting our meal. But Phil's he's the air traffic controller back there between the
that's right
Chi Omega sorority and getting the plates done, because we don't cook it there. They bring it and we put it on plates. And like I said, as soon as Amen gets going, those girls are out, shooting plates out to everybody, and Phil does a great job of that. Walt Mercer helps him a bunch with that, and so many people donate the door prizes, and we do the door prizes, and between East Carolina, hats and stuff, and we get stuff from other schools, and Brian Weingart's he brings some Little League stuff.
What Lee Nairn does to get all that together, it's unbelievable. That's one of the guys you talked about.
Yeah, Lee Nairn gets all that, kind of gets all that together. So it's just a neat deal because it's all, like you said at the start, it's all about family and getting your kids there, and they have somebody to see. Oh God, there's Coach Godwin, or there's Coach Vincent, or,
right?
So.
Yeah, and a lot of these kids have grown up with the hot stove. And unfortunately, we haven't had it the last couple of years, as we've said, but still, a lot of these guys, they're 6, 7 years old, and they go every year. Dad takes them to the hot stove banquet.
Now they're 40.
Yeah, exactly. You blink, and they're all...
Yeah. I'm thinking about my grandson. He's been to quite a few of them now. He's 20.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's 20 years old.
Yeah, now those kids are bringing their kids.
Yeah.
And grandson was talking to me this weekend about hot stove. I'll be there now. You got to save me a ticket.
Yeah.
He's been to so many of them.
That's hard to believe. Marvin's been to most of them too. I think.
I think Marvin's leaving.
I think Marvin's losing interest.
He's gonna miss this one.
Oh, we got a basketball game.
Yeah.
Well, you know how that goes. Who are you playing that night?
At Kingston.
Oh, well, at least it's an easy one.
No, easy.
Oh, I know it's not going to be easy. That's for sure. Because Kinston had a good one this weekend with Goldsboro. I think Goldsboro beat him.
Did he really?
I think so. I think in that the Brandon Ingram tournament on Saturday. I saw that. So, yeah, we've lost Marvin.
Marvin's gone.
Marvin had to take a break.
Something's calling Marvin.
Yeah, I think something certainly is. Something's been calling all of us coming up in just a bit. All right, Coach Vincent, well, we got you here now. How the ramp is going to be this year?
We'll be all right.
Yeah,
we'll be all right. We got several good pitchers, and with the pitch count rule being like it is now, you used to be able to go in there if you had 2 good pitchers, you really felt. Now you got to have 4 or 5 pitchers because your pitchers can't come back like we used to do. So it's changed a lot. So we got 4 or 5 pitchers, and most of the Pitt County Greenville teams are going to play defense.
Yeah.
All these kids play so much baseball growing up, so we'll be a defense. Then if we hit.
Yeah, that's the big question all the time, isn't it? If you hit.
Yep, if you hit. Yeah.
You got to get the pitching, but then you got to figure out a way to hit their pitching.
That's right. And how to get score runs.
Good pitching beats good hitting, right?
Yes. Yeah, because when you play good teams there, when you play good teams like in Pitt County, you got to hit because they're not going to give you anything.
Right.
That's the way it is.
What do you see in the Big Carolina 3A, 4A?
Well, it's going to be the same thing. Us and Conley and South Central and New Bern would be pretty good, but Conley and South Central will be really good again.
We talked about this whenever they made the switch for football. What a great football conference. It's not as great at baseball conference because the southern schools just seem like they struggle some at baseball. But in football, I mean, every Friday night, and the coaches always call it like the SEC, which it kind of is in a way. I mean, it's just like every
night.
Well, it was Jacksonville this year that I think lost all their big conference games, and they went a long way in the playoffs.
They were in the Eastern Finals.
They got to the Eastern Finals.
Yeah, and they lost like 4 or 5 conference games.
Right. So I mean, it's a juggernaut as far as that goes. There's talk right now. Before we let you go, Coach, I know we're running out of time, but they're talking about going to 7 classifications. What do you think of that?
I think that's a little bit much. Definitely, we need to change at least to 5 classifications at least. And this is for 4A. Conley's sitting down at Conley with 1,700 students, and they're 4A, and they're in conference with Apex Friendship with 2,900. These teams out of Charlotte, 37.
Right.
2,000 more students than Conley. Well, those teams with 1,700, and that's just not fair.
Right.
That's just not fair,
And Rose has been in that situation too. When you're one of the smaller 4A schools, now Rose is 3A, but they've had that year. South Central's been in that situation before. Right. If you go to five classifications, Rose would they be 3A then or 4A?
Probably the same with Conley and them, but that's going to be because of geography,
right?
Whatever because you got to be able to put them together, and as everybody listing down east. There's just not a lot of 3A and 4A schools.
Right. When I got here in '84, there was a whole slew of 4A schools.
And now they're gone.
I mean, it's really strange.
So all that factors in, and it's going to be a tough, but the principals got to vote for changing it, and I hope all the principals do vote because we do need to make some changes.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's coming down the road. All right, once again, 6 o'clock, is that the start time? 6:30? 6:30 start time for the 32nd Annual Pitt Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. It's going to be a great time. There are tickets available at the door, so if you're thinking about it, if you've listened to us today, you want to see what all the madness is about, come out and join us. It's a lot of fun, baseball, barbecue, and just a really, really good night. I want to thank Mike Shildt, the 2019 National League Manager of the Year with the St. Louis Cardinals, for joining us, and he'll be the guest speaker coming up on Thursday night. I want to thank Ronald Vincent, Duane Grooms, and Marvin, wherever he went. I want to thank him as well. Thanks so much for listening today. Have yourself a great Monday holiday today, and we'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Papa John's, Pepsi, The Rick House, Greenville Utilities, BMS Builders, Taft and Hagler, Tiebreakers, and Greenville Auto World.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, right here on Pirate Radio. This is Pirate Radio, WGH.